Hi there, it's Carl Irwin, the Con Magician. I've got something interesting to share with you. This will be very, very short. We've been looking at deck stacks, and I mentioned as we were looking recently over the last week ago at deck stacks that I might be interested in putting together a book like I did for the ACAN plot. And I've actually started doing that. I've started putting together a few chapters on various ideas related to the stacks that I use, the way I formulate them, a lot of stuff we've talked about on this channel. I've already put out a Penguin Project, a video download called The Common Stack that deals with that particular stack, at least the early iterations of that. And I've even included some addendum material that gives you my more current thinking on it in that download. If you haven't purchased that, it's out there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to write a book. I might even create a video download accompanying video that demonstrates physically how things are built, just so it's a little easier for people that like to learn in that way. That's my thinking at this time. But I'm working on this right now, and in particular, I've got 3 particular stacks that I've enjoyed. 2 of them I've enjoyed. One of them that we've been talking about recently. That would be the common stack, card for position, looks shuffled. A tetradistic variation of that, which we've talked about on the channel before. It's really the same kind of principles, but into a 13 card sequence. And then the inverse running order stack, and then my take on that, which is the common inverse stack. So these are kind of the 3 big things, with a little bit more weight put on that third one that is a little bit more recent in our discussion. That's the one I'm dealing with right now. This is the common inverse stack, and I'm just telling you ahead of time because what I want to really talk about is the way that this can be used for the common magician for a most uncommon effect. Mnemonicosis, right? Mnemonicosis is the Juan Tamariz kind of thing, treatment of the card trick that can't be explained. It's minus the prediction, right? A card is freely named and then it's found in a very similar way. The one issue with the trick is that it requires the spectator to do something to the deck, where that they are making a selection, and then you deal with the selection. You guide them for a selection, then you deal with what the outcome is, and you get to the card that needs to be there. You have to think quickly. You got to have a big vocabulary about how to deal with things. You got to have mathematical calculations. You got to have spelling outs. You got to be able to work on the fly to do it. But what if you didn't? What if you didn't have to work on the fly? So one way to deal with this would be to merely falsify the spectator involvement. If you could do that, then you could have predetermined outs for every card in the deck. And that's actually very easy to do if you're working with the inverse stack, either the generic version of it or my version of it, which has a suit configuration. So just for a demonstration, we'll look at 3 possibilities here. We've got the 4 of diamonds. The 4 of diamonds is what we're looking for. So what this starts with is it starts with a situation where you need to falsify spectator involvement. It doesn't matter what you're doing ahead of time. You can be cutting, you can be shuffling, falsified, whatever. But right at this point, even though I'm square and ready to go, I need to invite spectator involvement. And I'm at the same place as I would be in mnemonicosis right now. Okay, it's been named. I'm all ready to go. I've got it where I need it to be for that 4 of diamonds. It's actually going to be 4th from the top. And I need a couple of different ways to involve the spectator in a falsified way. So I'm going to show you 3. And we've talked about all 3 at different times. One of them in particular we've talked about a lot. Another one we've talked about a little bit, and one I think I've mentioned once or twice, and that's it. So we're going to talk about these. Right now I've got this situated for what we want. The first one is the crisscross force. I could say, go ahead and cut the deck. They cut the deck. We do the crisscross force. A little bit of time misdirection. We come back to it, and then we count into that spot, right? 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th card. You said the 4 of diamonds, and it is the 4 of diamonds, right? So that's the first one. The second option that we've talked about before would be the prophecy move. And this is good for both the top and the bottom. By the way, when you're working like this with this stack, you could do your counting from the bottom. You could spread after one of these options. For example, if they crisscross force and I need to force the bottom, we can do this. I can pick up the top, I can spread, and I can say right here where you cut, and we can count this way. So either way, I can go from the top down or from the bottom up, and I can cut it into position. Did I just mess that up? I did. 1 second. I just actually completed the cut on my crisscross force. There we go. Okay, so here I'm back into state. And the other one is the prophecy move. So the prophecy move does the same thing. I can say, great, go ahead and reach out and touch any card in the middle. They touch a card. I jog it out. And then I take the deck and I turn that card over, and I can say, let's turn this over so we can see. Now, obviously, this isn't your card, and then I can give it a spread. And in the prophecy move, what I've done is I've actually cut in both sides. I have the top, or I have the bottom, which I can force from the spot that they chose. I could say, now you pick this spot here, but if we count from, what did you say it was the what? 4 of diamonds? Great, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the 4th card, the 4 of diamonds, right? I can do it that way, or I can go in reverse. And again, some of these actually have spelling outs, which I'll talk about more in the book than I will here. From this point, if you just think backwards in terms of maintaining your stack, what you would need to do is take the card out that is turned up and put it on top where you're at. And now the deck is just merely cut, and you can put it back into sequence however you want. One quick thing to mention how I'm getting into this. I have breather crimps on the bottom card of the stack, which I always have breathers anyway, often on aces, and it just so happens that the ace is the head of the stack going from the bottom up. So I can see whenever I'm holding in this view, my breathers separate so I can cut to whatever section I need to get to. Again, we're looking for that 4 of diamonds. The last one I want to look at here, I think this is from a Lynn Searles idea. I believe I tracked this down a while back, but I might be miscalling the name. But it's essentially the first half of the cut deeper force. Okay, and I really love this. I'm going to be forcing, now this works for both, and I'm going to show you how it works for both. For top cards, we want to do it in the more classic way. Now the way I like to do this whenever I use this force, and I talk about this force in my project video download Open Mic on Penguin. This is one of the things we talk about. What we're going to do, again, 4th down from the top, is I'm going to ask the spectator to tell me when to stop as I drop the cards. So I dribble or drop or whatever, and they say stop, and then I flip. I'm going to turn over the top. And the way this works is I'm going to turn the deck now face up on the table, which will take the top section that I turned over and now put it back face down. So whenever I spread, I can point down to the first card that's face down, and then I can say, what did you say was the 4, right? And I can go from there 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have the 4 of diamonds. That's my card, okay? Now, if I wanted to do this from the other direction, okay, if I want to go from the other direction, this is relatively simple. Let me make sure I have everything correct again. Yeah, we're good. Let's say I want to go for a different card. We're going to go for the 10 of hearts from this place right here. So now 10, given this inverse stack, is one of these where I could count, just to tip this off, I could count to 10, obviously, but this is one that actually works in the other direction as well. So same thing, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to turn the deck over, and I'm going to dribble this way. So I'll drop the cards. I say, tell me when to stop. They say stop, and then I'm going to turn the bottom section over, and now I'm going to drop the deck now down and spread, and now I'm looking at this section right here, okay, because I'm forcing the bottom side of it. So it's really the same move. It's just the matter has to do with turning the deck over or not, okay? In fact, I did that wrong. I did do that wrong. Hang on 1 second. It's not the same move. I got ahead of myself. Again, I'm going to be forcing the bottom card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dribble face up, turn over like this, but this time when I'm going from the bottom, I'm going to set it down flat, and I'm going to spread. And I'm going to say we stopped right here. And now if we go from here, what was it, the 10? And if we spell that, T-E-N, and then we see the next card is the 10 of hearts. So one way in which that one can work for that particular value. But these are just 3 ideas and 2 variations on one in which you can have spectator choice and involvement. Select a card, you do the prophecy move, Bill Simon prophecy move, From that, you can either go top or bottom, either way, in terms of your out, your counting or spelling out, which is already predetermined, that it's been forced to that location. The cut deeper flip, again, I think it's Lynn Searles. I'm not sure. If someone knows out there who came up with that, go ahead and put it in the comments. And then I can either do the one for the top, or I can do the one for the bottom. And then, of course, the crisscross force, I can go for either the top or the bottom. So 3 ways in which you can invite spectator involvement in the selection of the location that seems extremely fair in the moment, doesn't seem fishy at all, looks very, very on the up and up from a card that they called, and you get that kind of mnemonicosis sort of spelling out. We could call this commonicosis or comminosis. I'm not sure what we'll call it, but that's what we'll call the trick, and that's the treatment. Again, I'm not going to divulge every little out that you have for all of them, but the outs are super easy, particularly because you can really just count for every single one of them. Odds go from the bottom, evens go from the top for this inverse stack that you can use for this. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you and give you a little bit of an update on my plans for a lot of what we've been talking about here and a lot of other things that we've talked about in the past on the channel related to deck stack. So good luck with that. Happy magicking.